Hello there, and welcome to this space where we pause, breathe, and reflect. Today we're diving into something profoundly transformative, letting go of everything that weighs you down thanks to Buddhism, meditation, and mindfulness. If you've ever felt like life's challenges are piling up faster than you can handle them, or if your mind feels cluttered with worries, doubts, or regrets, then this is for you. And even if you're just looking for ways to reduce stress and improve your well-being, I promise there's something here for everyone. Here at the Mindful Zone, my goal is simple: to create content that helps you reconnect with yourself, find balance, and live more fully in each moment. This isn't about perfection, it is about progress. It's about giving yourself permission to slow down, even if it's just for an hour, and explore how these ancient practices can bring peace, clarity, and joy into your daily life. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever stopped to think about all the things weighing you down? Maybe it's work deadlines looming over you, relationship struggles keeping you awake at night, financial pressures gnawing at your confidence, or perhaps it's guilt from past mistakes replaying endlessly in your mind. These burdens don't just exist externally, they settle deep within us, affecting how we feel, think, and interact with the world around us. Over time, they build up, leaving us feeling heavy, stuck, disconnected, or overwhelmed. But what if I told you that much of this weight doesn't have to stay with you? What if there were tools available to help you release some of those burdens, not by running away from them, but by approaching them differently? That's exactly what Buddhism, meditation, and mindfulness offer. They teach us how to observe our thoughts, emotions, and experiences without clinging to them so tightly. By doing this, we begin to loosen their grip on us and free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. One of the most beautiful aspects of these teachings is their accessibility. You don't need any special equipment, years of training, or a specific belief system to benefit from them. All you need is a willingness to show up for yourself and to give it a try. Whether you're completely new to these concepts or someone who's been practicing for years, I encourage you to approach this journey with curiosity and openness. There's always room to deepen your understanding and discover new insights. Throughout this video, we'll break things down into manageable pieces. We'll start by exploring why we carry so much weight in the first place, and how Buddhist philosophy can help us reframe our perspective. Then we'll dive into practical techniques like meditation and mindfulness, showing you step by step how to incorporate them into your daily routine. Along the way, we'll touch on topics like gratitude, compassion, forgiveness, and living in the present moment, all of which play a vital role in helping us let go and move forward with greater ease. So take a deep breath, inhale and exhale. Allow yourself to settle into this moment. Leave behind whatever distractions might be pulling at your attention right now, whether it's your phone buzzing, the laundry waiting to be folded, or that email you haven't answered yet. None of that matters for the next hour. What matters is you, your well-being, your growth, your journey toward lightness and freedom. Before we get started, I want to remind you that this process is not linear. Some days will feel easier than others. Some moments will bring clarity, while others might leave you feeling uncertain. That's okay. The key is consistency. Not striving for perfection, but simply showing up again and again with practice, patience, and kindness toward yourself. Transformation becomes possible. Are you ready? Let's take this first step together. In the chapters ahead, we'll unpack powerful ideas and actionable strategies designed to help you lighten your load and live more fully. So sit back, relax, and let's begin. Chapter 1: The Weight We Carry. Let's begin with a question. One that might feel uncomfortable at first, but is essential for understanding where we are and how we got here. What does it mean to carry weight? I'm not talking about physical weight, though many of us know what it feels like to lug around heavy bags or overstuffed suitcases. No, the weight I'm referring to is subtler, more intangible, yet just as real. It's the emotional baggage we accumulate over time. The stress, the regrets, the fears, the expectations, the responsibilities, and all the other burdens we unconsciously pick up along the way. Think about your own life for a moment. Close your eyes if you can, or simply pause and reflect. What's weighing on you right now? Is it work-related pressure? Perhaps you're juggling multiple deadlines, trying to meet impossible standards, or navigating office politics. Or maybe it's something closer to home, family obligations, relationship struggles, parenting challenges, or the constant balancing act between personal needs and those of others. For some of us, the weight comes from financial worries, health concerns, or even the haunting voice of self-doubt, whispering that we're not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough. And then there's the past. Oh, the past. How often do we find ourselves replaying old memories, reliving moments we wish had gone differently? Maybe it's a mistake you made years ago, a harsh word spoken in anger, or an opportunity you let slip through your fingers. These unresolved feelings linger, festering in the corners of our minds, adding layers to the weight we already carry. Over time, they become part of us, shaping how we see ourselves and interact with the world. Now imagine carrying all of this, not just for a day or a week, but for months, years, even decades. It's exhausting, isn't it? Yet so many of us do it without realizing the toll it takes. We push forward, gritting our teeth, telling ourselves that we'll deal with it later, or worse, convincing ourselves that this is just how life is supposed to be. But deep down, we know better. We sense that something isn't right, that the heaviness we feel doesn't have to define us. And that's where Buddhism, meditation, and mindfulness come in. One of the most profound insights offered by Buddhist philosophy is the idea that suffering arises not from external circumstances themselves, but from our attachment to them. This concept, known as dukkha, refers to the dissatisfaction or unease we experience when things don't go the way we want them to, or when they change unexpectedly. Sound familiar? Of course it does. Life is inherently unpredictable, full of ups and downs, joys and sorrows, beginnings and endings. Yet instead of accepting this reality, we cling to certain outcomes, identities, or possessions, believing that they hold the key to happiness. When they inevitably shift or disappear, we suffer. Take relationships, for example. How many times have you poured your heart into someone, a partner, a friend, a family member, only to feel crushed when things didn't turn out the way you hoped? Maybe they hurt you, betrayed your trust, or simply drifted away. In that moment, the pain feels unbearable, but what if part of the suffering stems not just from the loss itself, but from your attachment to how things were supposed to be? What if letting go of those rigid expectations could help ease the ache? This principle applies to almost every area of our lives. At work, we might fixate on promotions, recognition, or hitting specific targets, tying our self-worth to achievements that ultimately lie outside our control. Financially, we may chase after wealth or security, fearing scarcity and clinging to material possessions as if they'll protect us from uncertainty. Even in our pursuit of happiness, we often grasp at fleeting pleasures, food, entertainment, social media likes, hoping they'll fill the void inside. But none of these things provide lasting fulfillment because they're impermanent by nature. So, what's the alternative? And do we break free from this cycle of attachment and suffering? The answer lies in awareness, in recognizing the patterns that keep us stuck and choosing to approach life differently. Meditation and mindfulness serve as tools to help us develop this awareness, teaching us to observe our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without judgment. Instead of resisting or suppressing what arises, we learn to acknowledge it, understand it, and eventually release it. Let me share a personal story with you. A few years ago, I found myself overwhelmed by the demands of my career. I was working long hours, taking on projects beyond my capacity, and constantly striving to prove myself. On paper, everything looked fine. I was successful, respected, and financially stable, but internally I felt drained, anxious, and disconnected. Every morning I woke up dreading the day ahead, and every evening I collapsed into bed feeling like I hadn't accomplished enough. The weight I carried wasn't visible, but it was suffocating. It wasn't until I started exploring mindfulness practices that I began to understand the root of my struggle. Through meditation, I learned to sit quietly with my thoughts and notice the stories I was telling myself. I need to be perfect. If I don't succeed, I'll fail. I'm not doing enough. These narratives weren't facts. They were constructs, habits formed over years of conditioning. Once I became aware of them, I could start challenging them, replacing them with gentler, more compassionate perspectives. Slowly but surely, the weight began to lift. Of course, this process wasn't easy. Letting go requires courage, patience, and a willingness to face discomfort head-on. It means confronting the parts of ourselves we'd rather ignore, the fears, the insecurities, the doubts, and sitting with them until they lose their power over us. But the reward is worth it. When we release our grip on what no longer serves us, we create space for something new to emerge. We open ourselves up to possibilities we couldn't see before, allowing life to flow more freely. Here's another way to think about it. Imagine holding onto a rock submerged in water. As long as you keep gripping it, you stay anchored in one spot, unable, caught in the current, unable to move. But the moment you let go, you rise to the surface, buoyant and free. That's what happens when we release the weights we've been carrying. We regain our ability to float, to breathe, to live fully in the present moment. As we continue through this video, we'll explore specific techniques to help you identify and release these burdens. From embracing impermanence to cultivating gratitude, each chapter will build upon the last, guiding you step by step toward greater clarity and peace. But for now, take a moment to reflect on the weight you're carrying. Name it, acknowledge it, and remind yourself that you don't have to carry it forever. With practice and persistence, you can lighten your load and discover a deeper sense of freedom along the way. Chapter 2. Understanding Impermanence. One of the most profound teachings in Buddhism, and one that has the power to transform how we experience life, is the concept of impermanence. At its core, impermanence is a simple yet deeply liberating idea. Nothing lasts forever. Everything in this world, from the smallest moment to the grandest event, is constantly changing. This truth applies to both the joys and challenges we encounter, the relationships we cherish, the seasons that pass, and even our own existence. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wait, isn't change scary? Doesn't it mean loss, uncertainty, or instability? And yes, on the surface, impermanence can feel unsettling. After all, we humans are creatures of habit. We crave stability, predictability, and control. We want to hold on to the things that make us happy and shield ourselves from pain. But here's the paradox. Clinging to permanence, whether it's people, possessions, emotions, or outcomes, actually creates more suffering than embracing change ever could. Let me explain why. When we resist impermanence, we fight against the natural flow of life. We try to freeze moments in time, demanding that they remain exactly as they are. But life doesn't work that way. Seasons shift. Friendships evolve, health fluctuates, careers take unexpected turns, and loved ones come and go. No matter how hard we try to hold on, everything eventually transforms. The more we cling, the tighter our grip becomes, and the greater the pain when reality forces us to let go. This resistance to change often manifests as fear, anxiety, or sadness. Have you ever found yourself dreading the end of a vacation, knowing that returning to your routine will bring disappointment? Or maybe you've held on to a toxic relationship longer than you should have because breaking free felt too painful. Perhaps you've obsessed over capturing every detail of a special moment, a wedding, a birthday, a sunset, only to realize later that you missed the actual experience while trying to preserve it. These are all examples of how our attachment to permanence keeps us trapped in cycles of dissatisfaction. But what if, instead of resisting impermanence, we leaned into it? What if we saw it not as an enemy but as an ally? When we truly internalize the fact that nothing lasts forever, it changes how we relate to both pleasure and pain. During difficult times, remembering impermanence reminds us that this too shall pass. Even the darkest storms give way to sunlight eventually. On the flip side, during moments of joy, impermanence teaches us to savor the present without clinging to it out of fear it won't last. By accepting the transient nature of all things, we open ourselves up to a richer, fuller experience of life. To better understand this concept, let's look at nature, one of the greatest teachers of impermanence. Think about the cycle of a flower. It starts as a tiny seed, grows into a vibrant bloom, wilts, and eventually returns to the earth. Each stage is beautiful in its own right, yet none of them endure indefinitely. The same is true for trees shedding their leaves in autumn, rivers carving new paths through landscapes, or clouds drifting across the sky. Nature operates effortlessly within the framework of constant change, showing us that transformation isn't something to fear, it's simply part of being alive. We can apply this lesson to our own lives. Consider your emotions, for instance. How often do you find yourself stuck in anger, sadness, or frustration, believing that these feelings will never leave? Yet if you observe closely, you'll notice that emotions are like weather patterns. They arise, linger for a while, and then dissipate. They don't define you. They're temporary states passing through your awareness. Recognizing this can help you navigate challenging moments with greater ease, trusting that brighter days lie ahead. The same principle holds true for external circumstances, jobs, homes, relationships, and material possessions. All of these are subject to change. While it's natural to form attachments to them, understanding their impermanent nature allows us to appreciate them fully without becoming overly dependent on them for happiness. For example, imagine losing a job you loved. At first, the loss might feel devastating, but if you view it as part of life's ebb and flow, you might begin to see it as an opportunity for growth, exploration, or redirection. Impermanence invites us to trust that endings pave the way for new beginnings. Of course, embracing impermanence isn't always easy. It requires us to confront some uncomfortable truths about life, death, and the passage of time. Many of us avoid thinking about mortality, not just our own, but also that of those we love, because it feels overwhelming. Yet Buddhist teachings suggest that contemplating impermanence can actually deepen our appreciation for life. When we recognize how fleeting each moment is, we become more intentional about how we spend our time. We prioritize meaningful connections, pursue passions that ignite our spirit, and cultivate gratitude for the little things we might otherwise overlook. Mindfulness plays a crucial role in helping us connect with impermanence. Through practices like meditation, we learn to observe the ever-changing nature of our thoughts, sensations, and surroundings. Here's an exercise you can try right now. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and focus on your body. Notice the rise and fall of your chest, the sensation of air entering and leaving your nostrils. Now shift your attention to sounds around you, the hum of appliances, birds chirping outside, distant traffic. Observe how these experiences continuously unfold, never staying the same for long. This simple act of paying attention anchors you in the present moment, reminding you that everything is in motion. Another powerful way to explore impermanence is through journaling. Spend a few minutes writing about something in your life that has changed recently. It could be a relationship, a career move, a personal achievement, or even a mundane detail like redecorating your living room. Reflect on how the change made you feel. Was it exciting, disorienting, bittersweet? Then ask yourself, what did I learn from this transition? How has it shaped who I am today? Journaling helps you process change consciously, transforming it from something abstract or intimidating into a tangible source of wisdom. Let me share another personal story with you. A few years ago, I went through a breakup that left me reeling. My partner and I had been together for several years, and suddenly everything I thought was stable dissolved overnight. I spent weeks consumed by grief, replaying memories in my mind and wondering if I'd ever feel whole again. But over time, I began to reflect on the impermanence of relationships, not just romantic ones, but all kinds. I realized that even though this particular chapter had ended, it didn't negate the beauty and growth we'd shared during our time together. In fact, acknowledging its impermanence allowed me to honor the experience fully, without clinging to it or pushing it away. That realization marked a turning point for me. Instead of viewing the breakup as a failure or tragedy, I started seeing it as part of life's intricate dance. Doors close so that new ones can open. Old stories fade to make room for fresh narratives. And while letting go still hurt, it no longer felt suffocating. I emerged stronger, wiser, and more attuned to the delicate balance between holding on and releasing. As you continue on this journey, I encourage you to practice noticing impermanence in your daily life. Pay attention to the small details, the way sunlight shifts throughout the day, the sound of rain fading into silence, the laughter of children echoing in a park. Let these reminders ground you in the present moment, dissolving any tendency to ruminate on the past or worry about the future. Over time, you'll develop a deeper sense of peace, knowing that life is unfolding exactly as it should. In the chapters ahead, we'll explore additional tools to help you embrace impermanence and integrate it into your mindfulness practice. From cultivating non-attachment to building resilience in the face of change, each step will guide you closer to freedom from the burdens of clinging. For now, take a moment to sit quietly and reflect on this truth. Nothing stays the same forever. And that's okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It's the essence of life itself. Chapter 3: Letting Go Through Meditation. Meditation is often described as the gateway to inner peace, and for good reason. It's one of the most powerful tools we have for letting go of the burdens that weigh us down. Whether it's stress, anxiety, self-doubt, or unresolved emotions, meditation provides a safe space to confront these challenges and release them with compassion and clarity. But before we dive into the specifics of how meditation works, let's first address a common misconception. Meditation isn't about stopping your thoughts entirely. That's impossible. Instead, it's about observing your thoughts without judgment, allowing them to pass like clouds drifting across the sky. Think of your mind as a river. When you're caught up in the chaos of daily life, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the currents pulling you in every direction. Meditation acts as an anchor, grounding you amidst the turbulence so you can observe the flow without getting swept away. Over time, this practice helps you cultivate a sense of detachment, not indifference, but rather the ability to step back and see things more objectively. The shift in perspective is key to letting go of what no longer serves you. So, how does meditation actually help us let go? To answer that question, let's break it down into 3 core components: awareness, acceptance, and release. Each plays a vital role in transforming our relationship with ourselves and the world around us. Awareness. The first step in any meditation practice is becoming aware of what's happening inside you. Your thoughts, emotions, bodily sensations, and even the subtle energy shifts you might not normally notice. Awareness is like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly you can see everything clearly: the cluttered corners, the cobwebs hanging from the ceiling, the dust gathering on surfaces. Without awareness, we stumble blindly through life, reacting instinctively to whatever arises without understanding why. When you meditate, you create intentional moments of stillness where you can tune into these inner workings. For example, during a mindfulness meditation session, you might focus on your breath, noticing how it feels as air enters and leaves your body. As thoughts inevitably arise, perhaps worries about work, memories from the past, or plans for the future, you gently acknowledge them without engaging. You simply say to yourself, there's a thought, and then return your attention to your breath. This process sounds simple, but its impact is profound. By repeatedly bringing your focus back to the present moment, you train your mind to become less reactive and more centered. Over time, you develop what Buddhists call vipassana, or insight, a deeper understanding of the patterns and habits that shape your behavior. With awareness comes choice. Once you recognize the repetitive loops running through your mind, you can begin to interrupt them and choose healthier responses instead. Acceptance. The second component of meditation is acceptance, an often misunderstood concept. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation or passivity. It doesn't mean condoning harmful actions or settling for less than you deserve. Rather, acceptance means acknowledging reality as it is, without resistance or denial. It's saying, this is where I am right now, and that's okay. Why is acceptance so important? Because resistance creates suffering. When we fight against what is, whether it's a difficult emotion, an uncomfortable situation, or an unwanted truth, we add an extra layer of pain to the experience. Imagine standing in quicksand. The more you struggle, the faster you sink. But if you relax and spread your weight evenly, you increase your chances of staying afloat. Similarly, when we resist what's happening within us, we exacerbate the discomfort. Acceptance allows us to stop struggling and start healing. In meditation, acceptance shows up in many ways. For instance, when a challenging emotion arises, say sadness or anger, you don't push it away or judge yourself for feeling it. Instead, you meet it with kindness and curiosity. You might place a hand over your heart and silently say, "It's okay to feel this way, I'm here for you." This act of self-compassion softens the edges of the emotion, making it easier to process. Over time, you learn to hold space for all aspects of yourself, even the ones you'd rather avoid. Release. The final piece of the puzzle is release, the act of letting go. Once you've cultivated awareness and practiced acceptance, releasing becomes almost effortless. You realize that thoughts and emotions are transient. They come and go, just like waves lapping at the shore. Your job isn't to control them, it's to watch them and allow them to move on naturally. There are countless techniques for facilitating release during meditation. One of my favorites involves visualization. Picture each thought or emotion as a leaf floating down a stream. Watch it drift away without clinging to it or trying to change its course. Another method is labeling. As thoughts arise, mentally assign them categories such as planning, worrying, or remembering. This small act of naming creates distance between you and the thought, reminding you that you're not defined by it. Let me share a guided exercise with you now. One you can try either while listening to this video or later when you have some quiet time. Find a comfortable seated position. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold for a moment, and exhale slowly through your mouth. Feel your body relaxing with each breath, letting go of tension in your shoulders, jaw, and hands. Now bring your attention to your breath. Notice the sensation of air entering and leaving your nostrils. If your mind starts to wander, which it will, that's perfectly normal. Gently guide your focus back to your breath without criticizing yourself. As thoughts arise, imagine them as clouds passing overhead. Some may linger longer than others, but none of them stay forever. Simply observe them and let them go. If you'd like, you can incorporate a mantra, a short phrase or word, to help deepen your practice. For example, as you inhale, silently say to yourself, "I am calm." As you exhale, repeat, "I let go." These words serve as gentle reminders of your intention, reinforcing the mindset of relaxation and release. Now, take a moment to scan your body from head to toe. Are there areas where you're holding on to tension? Maybe it's tightness in your chest, a knot in your stomach, or stiffness in your neck. Breathe into those spaces, inviting them to soften and open. Allow any lingering stress or heaviness to melt away with each exhale. Finally, spend a few minutes sitting in stillness, soaking in the peace you've created. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes and return to the present moment. Notice how you feel, lighter, calmer, more grounded. Even if the effects are subtle, trust that they're planting seeds of transformation that will blossom over time. Meditation isn't a quick fix, it's a lifelong practice, and like anything worth doing, it requires patience and consistency. There will be days when your mind feels restless, distracted, or resistant. That's part of the journey. What matters most is showing up again and again, committing to the process, even when it feels challenging. Over time, you'll notice changes, not just in your mental state, but in your relationships, your work, and your overall well-being. One of the most beautiful aspects of meditation is its accessibility. You don't need special equipment, a designated space, or hours of free time to benefit from it. Even 5 minutes a day can make a difference. Start small and gradually build your practice as you become more comfortable. Experiment with different styles: mindfulness meditation, loving-kindness meditation, body scans, breath work, to find what resonates with you. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to meditate. The goal is simply to show up and be present. Let me leave you with one last thought. Meditation isn't just about escaping the noise of the outside world. It's about creating harmony within yourself. When you cultivate awareness, acceptance, and release, you begin to embody these qualities in every area of your life. Challenges become opportunities for growth. Difficult emotions lose their power to overwhelm you, and the weights you've been carrying, those burdens you once thought were permanent, start to dissolve, revealing a lighter, freer version of yourself beneath. As we continue exploring the tools of Buddhism, mindfulness, and meditation throughout this video, keep returning to this foundation. Every chapter builds upon the principles we've discussed today, offering new insights and practices to support your journey. For now, take a moment to honor the courage it takes to sit with yourself, to face the unknown, and to embrace the transformative power of letting go. Chapter 4: Embracing Non-Attachment. One of the most misunderstood, yet profoundly liberating teachings in Buddhism is the concept of non-attachment. At first glance, it might sound cold or distant, like you're being asked to disconnect from life, suppress your emotions, or stop caring about the people and things you love. But nothing could be further from the truth. Non-attachment isn't about indifference. It's about engaging fully with life while maintaining a sense of inner freedom. It's about loving deeply without clinging, striving passionately without obsessing over outcomes, and enjoying experiences without fearing their inevitable end. To truly understand non-attachment, we need to unpack what it means, and perhaps more importantly, what it doesn't mean. Non-attachment doesn't require you to renounce worldly pleasures, relationships, or ambitions. You don't have to give up your career, move to a monastery, or abandon everything you hold dear. Instead, it invites you to shift your perspective, to engage with life in a way that fosters peace, resilience, and joy, even amidst uncertainty. Let's start by examining why attachment often leads to suffering. Think about the last time you felt anxious, frustrated, or heartbroken. Chances are, the root cause wasn't the situation itself, but your attachment to how you thought things should be. Maybe you were upset because a friend cancelled plans, leaving you feeling rejected or unimportant. Or perhaps you poured your heart into a project at work, only to receive feedback that didn't meet your expectations. In both cases, the pain stemmed not from the event, but from your attachment to a specific outcome, a vision of how things should unfold. Attachment creates rigid expectations, which set us up for disappointment when reality doesn't align with them. When we cling too tightly to people, possessions, or ideas, we lose our ability to adapt gracefully to change. Life becomes a series of battles against impermanence, leaving us exhausted and disillusioned. Non-attachment, on the other hand, teaches us to flow with life's currents rather than fighting against them. It allows us to participate fully in the present moment without getting entangled in fears about the future or regrets about the past. So, how do we practice non-attachment in our daily lives? Let's explore this question through 3 key areas: relationships, achievements, and material possessions. Non-attachment in relationships. Relationships are one of the most common sources of attachment, and consequently one of the most fertile grounds for practicing non-attachment. Whether it's romantic partnerships, friendships, family dynamics, or professional connections, our interactions with others shape much of our emotional landscape. The challenge lies in balancing intimacy with independence, closeness with clarity. Have you ever found yourself holding on to a relationship out of fear of losing someone you care about? Perhaps you've tolerated toxic behavior, sacrificed your own needs, or stayed silent during conflicts to avoid rocking the boat. While these actions may stem from love, they ultimately create imbalance and resentment. Non-attachment asks us to approach relationships with openness and honesty, prioritizing mutual respect and growth over control or dependency. For example, imagine a scenario where a close friend moves away for a new job opportunity. If you're overly attached to the idea of them staying nearby, their departure might trigger feelings of abandonment or loneliness. However, if you embrace non-attachment, you can celebrate their success while cherishing the memories you've shared. You recognize that physical distance doesn't diminish the bond you've built. It simply transforms it. By releasing your attachment to how things used to be, you create space for new forms of connection to emerge. Mindfulness plays a crucial role in cultivating non-attachment in relationships. When conflicts arise, instead of reacting impulsively, pause and observe your emotions. Are you feeling hurt because of something specific the other person said? Or are you projecting old wounds onto the situation? By staying grounded in the present moment, you can respond with compassion rather than defensiveness. This not only strengthens your relationships, but also deepens your understanding of yourself. Non-attachment to achievements. Our culture places immense value on success, whether it's measured by career milestones, financial wealth, academic accolades, or social recognition. From a young age, we're conditioned to equate achievement with self-worth, believing that our value as individuals depends on external validation. But this mindset sets us up for chronic dissatisfaction, because no matter how much we accomplish, there's always another goal to chase. Non-attachment challenges us to redefine success, not as a destination, but as a journey. It encourages us to pursue our passions wholeheartedly while detaching from the need for approval or perfection. Success, viewed through the lens of non-attachment, becomes less about proving ourselves and more about expressing our authentic selves. Consider an artist working on a painting. If they're overly attached to creating a masterpiece, they risk stifling their creativity, paralyzed by fear of failure. But if they approach their work with curiosity and playfulness, free from rigid expectations, they tap into a state of flow where inspiration thrives. Similarly, in any endeavor, whether it's writing a book, training for a marathon, or launching a business, non-attachment allows us to enjoy the process without fixating on the outcome. This principle applies not only to personal goals, but also to group projects and collaborations. Have you ever worked on a team where everyone was so focused on achieving a particular result that they lost sight of the bigger picture? Non-attachment helps us stay flexible, adapting to changes and setbacks with grace. We learn to trust that the effort we put in matters more than the final product, knowing that growth happens along the way. Practicing non-attachment to achievements requires a shift in perspective. Instead of asking, "What will I gain?" focus on questions like, "What am I learning?" or "How am I contributing?" Celebrate progress, no matter how small, and remind yourself that setbacks are opportunities for growth. Over time, you'll develop a healthier relationship with ambition, one rooted in authenticity rather than ego. Non-attachment to material possessions. In a world driven by consumerism, it's easy to fall into the trap of associating happiness with material wealth. We buy things hoping they'll bring us comfort, status, or fulfillment, but sooner or later the novelty wears off and we find ourselves craving the next shiny object. This cycle of acquisition leaves us perpetually unsatisfied, chasing after fleeting pleasures instead of lasting contentment. Non-attachment to material possessions doesn't mean rejecting all worldly goods or living ascetically. Rather, it involves recognizing that objects are tools meant to enhance our lives, not define them. When we let go of the belief that our worth depends on what we own, we free ourselves from the burden of constant comparison and consumption. Minimalism offers a practical framework for practicing non-attachment to material items. By decluttering our physical spaces, we create room for clarity and intentionality. Ask yourself, which belongings truly serve a purpose or bring me joy? Which ones weigh me down with maintenance, guilt, or obligation? Letting go of unnecessary possessions isn't just about simplifying your environment, it's about reclaiming your energy and attention for what truly matters. I remember going through a phase several years ago where I became obsessed with acquiring designer clothes and gadgets. Each purchase brought a temporary high, followed by a lingering sense of emptiness. It wasn't until I started exploring mindfulness that I realized I was using material goods as a substitute for genuine fulfillment. Slowly but surely, I began paring down my belongings, focusing instead on experiences, relationships, and creative pursuits. The result was a profound sense of lightness and freedom, a reminder that true happiness comes from within. Cultivating non-attachment through meditation. Meditation serves as a powerful tool for developing non-attachment, helping us observe our thoughts and emotions without identifying with them. During meditation, you might notice cravings arising for food, entertainment, social media likes, or other distractions. Instead of acting on these impulses, sit with them patiently, acknowledging their presence without judgment. Over time, you'll discover that desires lose their grip on you, becoming mere waves passing through your awareness. Another technique involves reflecting on impermanence during meditation. Visualize the transient nature of everything around you, your home, your car, your body, your loved ones. While this exercise might initially evoke sadness or discomfort, it ultimately fosters gratitude and presence. You begin to appreciate each moment for what it is, knowing that it won't last forever. The beauty of non-attachment. At its core, non-attachment is about embracing life's fluidity. It teaches us to dance with change rather than resist it, finding beauty in every stage of the journey. When we release our grip on rigid expectations, we open ourselves up to infinite possibilities. We stop waiting for the perfect moment to arrive and start savoring the imperfect, messy, glorious now. Non-attachment doesn't mean giving up on dreams or responsibilities. On the contrary, it empowers us to pursue them with greater passion and purpose, unencumbered by fear or doubt. We show up fully for the people and causes we care about, knowing that we're doing so out of love, not obligation. And when challenges arise, as they inevitably will, we face them with courage, trusting that we have the strength to navigate whatever comes our way. As we continue exploring the practices of Buddhism, mindfulness, and meditation throughout this video, keep returning to the wisdom of non-attachment. It's a guiding principle that underpins everything else we've discussed so far, offering a path to liberation from the weights we carry. For now, take a moment to reflect on one area of your life where you might benefit from letting go, whether it's a relationship, a goal, or a possession. Trust that releasing attachment doesn't mean losing connection. It means creating space for deeper, more meaningful engagement. Chapter 5. Cultivating Gratitude. Gratitude is often described as the antidote to suffering, a simple yet profound practice that shifts our focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in our lives. It's a cornerstone of mindfulness and Buddhism, offering a way to transform ordinary moments into extraordinary blessings. When we cultivate gratitude, we train ourselves to see the beauty in the everyday, even amidst challenges and hardships. This shift in perspective doesn't mean ignoring difficulties or pretending everything is perfect. Rather, it means acknowledging the good alongside the bad, creating balance and resilience within us. At its heart, gratitude is an active practice. It's not just about feeling thankful when something wonderful happens. It's about choosing to notice and appreciate the small, seemingly insignificant details that make life rich and meaningful. A warm cup of tea on a chilly morning, the sound of rain tapping against your window, a kind word from a stranger. These fleeting experiences are easy to overlook, but they hold immense power to uplift and sustain us if we take the time to recognize them. Let's begin by exploring why gratitude matters and how it can help you let go of the weights you've been carrying. Whether it's stress, regret, anger, or fear, these burdens often stem from focusing too much on what's wrong or missing in our lives. Gratitude interrupts this pattern by redirecting our attention to what's going well. It reminds us that even in the darkest moments there are glimmers of light, sources of hope, comfort, and joy that deserve our acknowledgement. The science behind gratitude. Before diving deeper into the spiritual aspects of gratitude, it's worth noting that science supports its transformative effects. Research has shown that practicing gratitude regularly can improve mental health, strengthen relationships, boost self-esteem, and even enhance physical well-being. For example, studies have found that people who keep gratitude journals report lower levels of depression and anxiety, better sleep quality, and increased optimism about the future. These benefits aren't surprising when you consider how gratitude rewires our brains, fostering positivity and reducing negativity bias, the tendency to dwell on unpleasant experiences. But gratitude isn't just about reaping personal rewards, it also strengthens our connections with others. When we express appreciation for someone, a friend, family member, co-worker, or even a stranger, we create ripples of kindness that extend far beyond ourselves. Think about the last time someone thanked you sincerely. How did it make you feel? Chances are it brightened your day and inspired you to pay it forward. Gratitude has a contagious quality, spreading warmth and goodwill wherever it goes. How to practice gratitude daily. Now that we understand why gratitude matters, let's talk about how to incorporate it into your daily routine. One of the easiest ways to start is by keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be monumental achievements or life-changing events. They can be as simple as finding a great parking spot, enjoying a delicious meal, or having a quiet moment to yourself. Over time, this habit trains your mind to seek out the positive, making it easier to notice and savor the good things in life. If writing isn't your thing, try verbalizing your gratitude instead. At the end of each day, reflect on what went well and share it with someone close to you, a partner, child, roommate, or friend. You might say, "Today I'm grateful for the laughter we shared during dinner," or "I really appreciated the extra effort you put into helping me with my project." Not only does this practice deepen your own sense of gratitude, but it also strengthens your bond with the other person. Another powerful technique is incorporating gratitude into meditation. Begin by sitting comfortably, closing your eyes, and taking a few deep breaths. As you settle into stillness, bring to mind something or someone you're grateful for. It could be a supportive colleague, a loving pet, or the sunshine warming your skin. Picture this person or thing vividly, allowing yourself to fully immerse in the feeling of appreciation. Silently thank them, expressing your gratitude with heartfelt sincerity. If tears come, let them flow. They're a natural response to opening your heart. You can also use guided visualizations to amplify your gratitude practice. Imagine standing in a field under a vast blue sky, surrounded by symbols of all the things you cherish most. Perhaps you see your family gathered nearby, your favorite books stacked neatly on a shelf, or a cozy blanket wrapped around your shoulders. Take a moment to soak in the abundance around you, letting it fill you with warmth and contentment. Then, Mentally send gratitude outward to the universe, nature, or whatever higher power resonates with you. This act of giving thanks expands your awareness, reminding you that you're part of something greater than yourself. Gratitude amidst challenges. Of course, practicing gratitude isn't always easy, especially during tough times. When you're facing illness, loss, financial struggles, or other hardships, it's natural to feel overwhelmed by negativity. But paradoxically, these are the moments when gratitude can be most transformative. By focusing on what remains intact, even if it's just your ability to breathe, think, or feel, you anchor yourself in hope and resilience. Consider the story of Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist who endured unimaginable suffering in Nazi concentration camps. Despite the horrors he witnessed, Frankl discovered that those who survived were often the ones who found meaning in their pain, whether through memories of loved ones, dreams of a brighter future, or acts of kindness toward fellow prisoners. In his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." Frankl's insight applies directly to gratitude. Even in the bleakest situations, we retain the freedom to choose where to direct our attention. Instead of fixating solely on what's been lost, we can look for signs of grace, moments of connection, courage, or compassion that remind us of life's inherent value. For instance, if you're grieving the death of a loved one, you might focus on the legacy they left behind, the lessons they taught you, or the love you shared. While the pain won't disappear overnight, gratitude helps soften its edges, providing solace and strength. Gratitude and letting go. One of the most beautiful intersections between gratitude and letting go lies in their shared emphasis on presence. Both practices encourage us to step out of the past and future, anchoring ourselves firmly in the here and now. When we're caught up in regrets or worries, we lose touch with the richness of the present moment. Gratitude pulls us back, reminding us that life unfolds in real time, not in the stories we tell ourselves about what should have been or might happen. Take a moment to reflect on something challenging you've experienced recently. Maybe it's a conflict with a friend, a missed opportunity, or a mistake you wish you hadn't made. Now ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? Is there anything, even something small, that I can be grateful for? Perhaps the experience taught you patience, humility, or empathy. Or maybe it brought you closer to someone who supported you during a difficult time. By reframing adversity through the lens of gratitude, you reclaim your agency, transforming obstacles into stepping stones. This process works hand in hand with non-attachment, which we explored earlier. When we release our grip on rigid expectations and outcomes, we open ourselves up to unexpected blessings. Gratitude becomes a bridge between acceptance and action, helping us navigate change with grace and purpose. We stop waiting for the perfect conditions to arrive and start embracing the imperfect, messy, glorious now. Practical tips for deepening your gratitude. Practice. If you're ready to take your gratitude practice to the next level, here are a few additional strategies to explore. Morning rituals. Start your day by listing 3 things you're grateful for before getting out of bed. This sets a positive tone for the hours ahead, priming your mind to notice opportunities for joy and connection. Gratitude walks. Spend 10-15 minutes walking outdoors, paying attention to the sights, sounds, and smells around you. With each step, silently thank the world for its beauty and abundance. Notice how this simple act enhances your mood and energy. Gratitude. Letters. Write a heartfelt letter to someone who has impacted your life positively. Be specific about what you're thanking them for and how their actions have shaped you. If possible, deliver the letter in person or read it aloud over a call. Witnessing their reaction will deepen your sense of connection and mutual appreciation. Mindful eating. Before meals, pause to express gratitude for the food on your plate, the farmers who grew it, the workers who transported it, and the hands that prepared it. Savor each bite slowly, appreciating the flavors and textures. This practice turns eating into a sacred ritual, nourishing both body and soul. Gratitude jar. Keep a jar in a visible spot at home and fill it with notes detailing moments of gratitude throughout the year. On New Year's Eve, or whenever feels right, empty the jar and read through the entries. This tangible reminder of all the good things in your life will inspire awe and wonder. The ripple effect of gratitude. When you commit to cultivating gratitude, you don't just benefit yourself, you contribute to a collective shift toward positivity and compassion. Every expression of thanks sends ripples outward, inspiring others to adopt similar attitudes. Imagine a world where everyone took a few moments each day to acknowledge the goodness around them. Conflicts would soften, misunderstandings would dissolve, and communities would flourish. Gratitude also aligns beautifully with the principles of Buddhism, particularly the concept of interdependence. Everything we experience, from the air we breathe to the technology we use, is interconnected, sustained by countless unseen forces. Recognizing this web of support fosters humility and reverence, encouraging us to treat others and the planet with care and respect. As we continue our journey through mindfulness, meditation, and Buddhist teachings, remember that gratitude is always available to you, no matter where you are or what you're facing. It's a lifeline during stormy seas, a beacon guiding you back to shore. By weaving gratitude into the fabric of your daily life, you'll find it easier to let go of the weights holding you down, replacing them with lightness, joy, and peace. For now, take a moment to close your eyes and breathe deeply. Think of one thing you're grateful for right now, something that brings you comfort, inspiration, or delight. Hold on to that thought as you move forward, knowing that gratitude is a gift you give not only to yourself, but to the world. Chapter 6. Compassion toward yourself and others. Compassion is one of the most transformative forces we can cultivate, not just for others, but also for ourselves. It's a practice that lies at the heart of Buddhism, mindfulness, and meditation, offering a pathway to healing, connection, and liberation from the burdens we carry. Yet despite its importance, compassion is often misunderstood or overlooked in our fast-paced, achievement-driven world. Many of us struggle to extend kindness to ourselves, let alone to those around us, especially when life feels overwhelming or unfair. At its core, compassion means recognizing suffering, whether it's your own or someone else's, and responding with care, understanding, and a desire to alleviate that pain. It's not about fixing problems or erasing hardships. Rather, it's about being present with vulnerability, acknowledging the shared human experience, and offering support without judgment. When practiced consistently, compassion has the power to soften the edges of our struggles, deepen our relationships, and create a sense of belonging in an otherwise fragmented world. Let's begin by exploring why compassion matters so deeply, and how it can help you let go of the weights you've been carrying. Whether it's guilt, shame, anger, or resentment, these emotions often stem from a lack of self-compassion or difficulty forgiving others. By embracing compassion as both a mindset and a practice, you can release these heavy burdens and step into greater freedom and peace. The roots of suffering, why we resist compassion. Before diving into how to cultivate compassion, it's important to understand why many of us resist it in the first place. For some, self-compassion feels indulgent or selfish, an act of weakness that undermines productivity or ambition. Others fear appearing soft or vulnerable, believing that toughness is the only way to succeed in a competitive society. Still, others struggle with compassion toward others, particularly if they feel hurt, betrayed, or wronged by them. These barriers are understandable given the cultural conditioning many of us have received. From a young age, we're taught to prioritize achievement over empathy, to value independence over interdependence, and to suppress emotions rather than honor them. But this approach leaves us isolated, disconnected, and burdened by unresolved pain. Without compassion, we become trapped in cycles of self-criticism, blame, and defensiveness, all of which perpetuate suffering rather than alleviating it. Buddhist teachings remind us that suffering is universal. No matter who you are, where you come from, or what you've accomplished, you will encounter challenges, losses, and disappointments throughout your life. What sets compassionate individuals apart is their ability to meet these experiences with grace and resilience, knowing that they're part of the human condition. This perspective doesn't diminish the pain, it simply reframes it, helping us see ourselves and others through a lens of shared humanity. Self-compassion, the foundation of inner peace. If compassion is a gift we give to others, self-compassion is the foundation upon which all other forms of compassion rest. Without it, our efforts to be kind to others risk becoming hollow or unsustainable. After all, how can we pour from an empty cup? Self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same warmth, patience, and understanding you would offer a dear friend facing similar struggles. One of the most common obstacles to self-compassion is our inner critic, the voice inside us that constantly judges, berates, or belittles us for perceived failures. This voice might say things like, "You're not good enough, why did you make such a stupid mistake?" Or, "Everyone else seems to have it together except you." While the inner critic may believe it's protecting you from harm, it ultimately keeps you stuck in patterns of self-doubt and shame. To counteract this tendency, try practicing self-compassion exercises inspired by Buddhist teachings and modern psychology. One powerful technique is called loving-kindness meditation, or metta-meditation, which involves silently repeating phrases of goodwill toward yourself and others. Here's how you can do it. Find a quiet space, sit comfortably, and close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths, allowing your body to relax and settle into stillness. Then bring your attention inward and silently repeat phrases like, "May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe, may I live with ease." As you recite these words, imagine sending love and kindness to every part of your being, from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. If resistance arises, perhaps feelings of unworthiness or skepticism, acknowledge them gently and return to the phrases. Over time, this practice helps rewire your brain, replacing negative self-talk with affirmations of care and acceptance. Another effective strategy is reframing mistakes and setbacks as opportunities for growth. Instead of viewing failure as evidence of inadequacy, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can it help me become stronger, wiser, or more compassionate? This shift in mindset allows you to embrace imperfection as a natural part of life, freeing you from the pressure to be perfect. Finally, consider creating rituals of self-care that nurture your body, mind, and spirit. These could include journaling, taking long baths, spending time in nature, or engaging in creative activities like painting or writing. Whatever form they take, these practices serve as reminders that you deserve love and respect, not because of what you achieve, but simply because you exist. Extending compassion to others. Once you've established a foundation of self-compassion, you can begin extending that same kindness outward to friends, family members, colleagues, strangers, and even those who challenge you. This doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior or tolerating abuse. Rather, it means approaching conflict with curiosity and empathy, seeking to understand rather than judge. One way to practice compassion toward others is through active listening. When someone shares their thoughts or feelings with you, resist the urge to interrupt, offer advice, or minimize their experience. Instead, give them your full attention, maintaining eye contact and nodding occasionally to show you're engaged. Reflect back what you hear by saying things like, "It sounds like you're feeling frustrated because," or "That must have been really hard for you." This simple act of validation can make a profound difference, helping the other person feel seen, heard, and valued. Another powerful tool is empathy, a skill that involves stepping into another person's shoes and imagining how they might feel. Empathy requires vulnerability, as it asks us to confront emotions we may prefer to avoid. But when practiced authentically, it fosters deeper connections and mutual understanding. For example, if a co-worker snaps at you during a meeting, instead of reacting defensively, pause and consider what might be driving their behavior. Are they stressed about deadlines, struggling with personal issues, feeling undervalued or overlooked? By shifting your focus from their actions to their underlying emotions, you open the door to constructive dialogue and resolution. For those who find forgiveness particularly challenging, remember that it's a process, not a one-time event. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning hurtful actions or forgetting past wounds. Rather, it means releasing the hold those experiences have on you, freeing yourself from the cycle of bitterness and resentment. To facilitate this process, try writing a letter, even if you don't send it, expressing your feelings to the person who harmed you. Acknowledge the pain they caused, then articulate your intention to forgive, not for their sake, but for yours. This act of release can be incredibly liberating, allowing you to reclaim your energy and focus on moving forward. The ripple effect of compassion. Compassion isn't just a personal practice, it's a force that ripples outward, touching everyone it encounters. When you treat yourself with kindness, you model that behavior for others, inspiring them to do the same. Similarly, when you extend compassion to those around you, you create a culture of empathy and trust that strengthens relationships and communities. Consider the story of Thich Nhat Hanh, a renowned Zen master and peace activist who dedicated his life to spreading compassion across the globe. Through his teachings and writings, he emphasized the interconnectedness of all beings, urging people to recognize their shared humanity. He famously said, "Peace in oneself, peace in the world." This mantra encapsulates the essence of compassion. When we cultivate inner peace, we contribute to global harmony. In practical terms, the ripple effect of compassion manifests in countless ways. A single act of kindness, a smile, a compliment, or a helping hand can brighten someone's day and inspire them to pay it forward. On a larger scale, organizations and movements rooted in compassion have the power to address systemic injustices, promote equality, and foster collective well-being. By choosing compassion over indifference, we align ourselves with a vision of the world that prioritizes love, justice, and unity. Cultivating compassion through daily practices. If you're ready to deepen your compassion practice, here are a few additional strategies to explore. Daily affirmations. Start each morning by reciting affirmations that reinforce self-love and acceptance. Examples include, "I am worthy of happiness," "I forgive myself for my mistakes," or "I choose to see the good in myself and others." Random acts of kindness. Challenge yourself to perform one small act of kindness each day, whether it's holding the door open for a stranger, leaving a generous tip, or sending a thoughtful text to a friend. These gestures cost little but yield immense rewards. Mindful communication. Before speaking, pause and ask yourself, will my words uplift or harm? Will they bring clarity or confusion? This habit ensures that your interactions are grounded in compassion and respect. Volunteering. Dedicate time to serving others through volunteer work, whether it's mentoring youth, feeding the homeless, or supporting environmental causes. Giving back reminds you of your capacity to make a positive impact. Gratitude and compassion. Combined, pair your gratitude practice with acts of compassion. For instance, after listing 3 things you're grateful for, identify one person you can express appreciation or kindness toward that day. Closing thoughts on compassion. As we continue exploring the tools of Buddhism, mindfulness, and meditation throughout this video, keep returning to the wisdom of compassion. It's a guiding principle that underpins everything else we've discussed so far, offering a path to liberation from the weights we carry. For now, Take a moment to reflect on one area of your life where you might benefit from greater self-compassion or compassion toward others. Trust that every act of kindness, no matter how small, creates waves of positive change, rippling outward to touch hearts and minds far beyond your own. Chapter 7. Living in the present moment. Living in the present moment is one of the most profound yet elusive goals we can strive for. It's a cornerstone of mindfulness and Buddhist philosophy, offering a way to break free from the relentless pull of the past and future. Yet despite its simplicity, it's incredibly challenging to master. Why? Because our minds are wired to wander, to dwell on yesterday's regrets, or fret about tomorrow's uncertainties. But when we manage to anchor ourselves in the here and now, we discover a sense of peace, clarity, and joy that eludes us when we're caught up in mental time travel. At its essence, living in the present means fully engaging with whatever is happening right now, not ruminating over what could have been or worrying about what might happen next. It's about being awake to the richness of life as it unfolds, moment by moment. This doesn't mean ignoring responsibilities or pretending challenges don't exist. Rather, it means approaching them with presence and awareness without letting your mind hijack you into unnecessary suffering. Let's delve deeper into why living in the present matters and how it can help you let go of the weights you've been carrying. Whether it's stress, anxiety, guilt, or overwhelm, these burdens often stem from disconnection from yourself, others, and the world around you. By cultivating presence, you create space to reconnect, reclaiming your power to choose how you respond to life's ups and downs, the illusion of time. To understand why living in the present is so transformative, we first need to examine how our relationship with time shapes our experience of reality. Human beings are unique in their ability to reflect on the past and plan for the future. While this capacity has allowed us to achieve incredible feats, building civilizations, advancing technology, and creating art, it also comes at a cost. When we spend too much time dwelling in the past or projecting into the future, we lose touch with the only moment that truly exists, now. Think about it. Have you ever found yourself replaying an old argument in your head, reliving every word and gesture, wishing you'd said or done something differently? Or perhaps you've spent hours obsessing over an upcoming event, a job interview, a presentation, a difficult conversation, imagining worst-case scenarios and rehearsing endless what-ifs. These thought patterns may feel productive, but they rarely lead to meaningful solutions. Instead, they trap us in cycles of regret, fear, or anticipation, keeping us perpetually disconnected from the present. Buddhism teaches that the past is gone. The future hasn't arrived, and the present is all we truly have. This isn't just a philosophical idea, it's a practical truth. Every breath you take, every heartbeat, every sensation you feel occurs in real time. Life unfolds in the present moment, not in the stories we tell ourselves about what happened or might happen. When we align ourselves with this reality, we tap into a wellspring of vitality and freedom. The benefits of presence. So, what happens when we commit to living in the present? For starters, we reduce stress and anxiety significantly. Much of our suffering stems from resisting what is, fighting against current circumstances because they don't match our expectations. When we embrace the present moment, however, we stop resisting and start flowing with life. We learn to meet each experience with curiosity and openness, trusting that we'll find a way forward no matter what arises. Presence also enhances our relationships. When we're fully engaged with someone, listening attentively, making eye contact, and responding authentically, we communicate love and respect more effectively than any words ever could. Conversely, when we're distracted by thoughts of the past or future, we miss opportunities for connection, leaving both parties feeling unseen and unheard. Additionally, living in the present boosts creativity and productivity. Have you ever noticed how ideas seem to flow effortlessly when you're completely absorbed in a task? This state of flow, as psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi calls it, occurs when we're fully immersed in the activity at hand, free from self-consciousness or distraction. By training ourselves to stay present, we access this creative potential more frequently, turning even mundane tasks into opportunities for growth and fulfillment. Finally, presence fosters gratitude and contentment. When we slow down and pay attention to the details of our surroundings, the warmth of sunlight on our skin, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee, the laughter of children playing nearby, we begin to appreciate the beauty inherent in everyday moments. These small joys accumulate over time, creating a reservoir of happiness that sustains us through life's inevitable challenges. How to cultivate presence. Now that we've explored why presence matters, let's talk about how to cultivate it in your daily life. Like any skill, living in the present requires practice and patience. Here are some strategies to help you deepen your connection to the here and now. Mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation is perhaps the most effective tool for developing presence. During meditation, you focus your attention on an anchor, usually your breath, bodily sensations or sounds, and gently bring your mind back whenever it wanders. This process trains your brain to notice distractions without getting swept away by them, strengthening your ability to stay grounded in the present. To try it yourself, find a quiet space, sit comfortably and close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths, allowing your body to relax and settle into stillness. Then, bring your attention to your breath, noticing the sensation of air entering and leaving your nostrils. If your mind starts to wander, which it will, gently guide your focus back to your breath without criticizing yourself. Over time, this practice helps you become more aware of your thoughts and emotions, enabling you to respond to them with greater clarity and compassion. Sensory awareness exercises. Another powerful technique involves using your senses to anchor yourself in the present moment. Throughout the day, pause periodically and ask yourself, what do I see? What do I hear? What do I smell? What do I taste? What do I feel? Engaging your senses in this way pulls you out of autopilot mode, reminding you to savor the richness of each experience. For example, during meals, eat slowly and mindfully, paying attention to the flavors, textures, and aromas of your food. When walking outside, notice the colors of the sky, the rustling of leaves, and the sensation of your feet touching the ground. These simple acts transform ordinary activities into sacred rituals, infusing them with meaning and purpose. Breathwork. Your breath is always available to you as a gateway to presence. Whenever you feel scattered or overwhelmed, take a few moments to focus on your breathing. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold for a count of 3, and exhale slowly through your mouth. Repeat this cycle several times, allowing your breath to steady your nervous system and calm your mind. You can also incorporate affirmations into your breathwork practice. As you inhale, silently say to yourself, I am here. And as you exhale, repeat, I am now. These words reinforce your intention to stay present, helping you release attachment to past regrets and future fears. Gratitude and appreciation. As we discussed earlier, gratitude naturally aligns with presence. When you express appreciation for something, a kind gesture, a beautiful sunset, a cozy blanket, you automatically shift your focus to the present moment. To deepen this connection, combine gratitude with sensory awareness. For instance, if you're grateful for a warm cup of tea, take a moment to notice its color, aroma, and taste, savoring every sip mindfully. Body scans. A body scan is a guided exercise that invites you to tune into physical sensations throughout your body. Starting at your toes and moving upward, systematically check in with each part of your body, noticing areas of tension, relaxation, warmth, or coolness. This practice not only grounds you in the present, but also promotes relaxation and self-awareness. Digital detoxes. In today's hyper-connected world, digital devices often serve as major distractions, pulling us out of the present moment and into virtual realms. To counteract this tendency, set aside designated periods each day to unplug, whether it's during meals, before bed, or first thing in the morning. Use this time to engage in mindful activities like journaling, reading, or spending time in nature. Overcoming obstacles to presence. While cultivating presence offers countless benefits, it's not without its challenges. One common obstacle is resistance to discomfort. Many of us turn to distractions, social media, television, shopping, as a way to avoid unpleasant emotions or situations. However, true presence requires us to face these experiences head-on, acknowledging them without judgment or avoidance. Another hurdle is impatience. We live in a culture that values speed and efficiency, where multitasking is seen as a virtue. Slowing down to savor the present moment can feel counterintuitive or even lazy. But remember, presence isn't about doing less, it's about doing more consciously. When you give your full attention to whatever you're doing, you accomplish tasks more effectively and enjoy them more deeply. Finally, there's the challenge of consistency. Like any habit, living in the present takes time to develop. There will be days when your mind feels restless, resistant, or preoccupied. That's okay. What matters most is showing up again and again, committing to the process, even when it feels difficult. Over time, presence becomes second nature, transforming the way you experience life. The ripple effect of presence. When you commit to living in the present, you don't just benefit yourself, you contribute to a collective shift toward mindfulness and connection. Every act of presence sends ripples outward, inspiring others to adopt similar attitudes. Imagine a world where everyone took a few moments each day to pause, breathe, and notice the beauty around them. Conflicts would soften, misunderstandings would dissolve, and communities would flourish. Presence also aligns beautifully with the principles of Buddhism, particularly the concept of interdependence. Everything we experience, from the air we breathe to the technology we use, is interconnected, sustained by countless unseen forces. Recognizing this web of support fosters humility and reverence, encouraging us to treat others and the planet with care and respect. As we continue our journey through mindfulness, meditation, and Buddhist teachings, remember that presence is always available to you, no matter where you are or what you're facing. It's a lifeline during stormy seas, a beacon guiding you back to shore. By weaving presence into the fabric of your daily life, you'll find it easier to let go of the weights holding you down, replacing them with lightness, joy, and peace. For now, take a moment to close your eyes and breathe deeply. Feel the weight of your body against the chair, the rhythm of your heartbeat, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Allow yourself to simply be knowing that this moment, right here, right now, is enough. Chapter 8. Forgiveness as Liberation. Forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood, yet profoundly liberating practices we can embrace. It's often mistaken for condoning harmful behavior or excusing injustice, but forgiveness is far more nuanced than that. At its core, forgiveness is about releasing the grip that resentment, anger, and bitterness have on your heart and mind. It's a gift you give to yourself, a way to reclaim your peace and freedom from the chains of past hurts. When we hold on to grudges, whether they're directed at others or ourselves, we carry an invisible weight that drains our energy, clouds our judgment, and stifles our ability to move forward. This emotional baggage keeps us tethered to the past, preventing us from fully engaging with the present moment. By practicing forgiveness, we create space for healing, growth, and transformation. But let's be clear, forgiveness isn't easy. It requires courage, patience, and a willingness to confront pain head-on. Yet the rewards are immeasurable: a lighter heart, deeper connections, and a renewed sense of purpose. In this chapter, we'll explore why forgiveness matters, how it intersects with mindfulness and Buddhist teachings, and practical steps you can take to cultivate it in your life. Whether you're struggling to forgive someone else, seeking self-forgiveness, or grappling with systemic injustices, These insights will guide you toward greater clarity and compassion. The burden of unforgiveness. To understand the importance of forgiveness, let's first examine what happens when we refuse to forgive. When someone wrongs us, whether through betrayal, neglect, abuse, or misunderstanding, we naturally experience pain. This initial reaction is human and valid. However, problems arise when we allow that pain to fester, turning into resentment, anger, or even hatred. Over time, these emotions become toxic, poisoning not only our relationships but also our physical and mental health. Studies have shown that chronic unforgiveness contributes to stress-related illnesses such as high blood pressure, heart disease, and depression. On an emotional level, it erodes trust, fosters isolation, and perpetuates cycles of conflict. Even if the person who hurt you is no longer part of your life, or perhaps not even alive, their actions continue to affect you because you are still holding on to them. Unforgiveness doesn't just harm us, it also impacts those around us. When we're consumed by bitterness, we project negativity onto others, creating barriers to connection and understanding. We may lash out at innocent bystanders, withdraw from loved ones, or sabotage opportunities for joy and fulfillment. In essence, unforgiveness keeps us stuck in a prison of our own making, while the person who caused the hurt often remains unaffected by our suffering. Buddhism teaches that clinging to anger and resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The only person harmed by unforgiveness is you. By choosing to forgive, you release yourself from this self-imposed imprisonment, stepping into a state of liberation and empowerment. What forgiveness is and isn't. Before diving into how to practice forgiveness, it's important to clarify what forgiveness entails and what it does not. Forgiveness is not condoning harmful behavior. You don't have to agree with or excuse what happened to forgive someone. Reconciliation. Forgiveness doesn't mean you must repair the relationship or allow the other person back into your life, especially if doing so would compromise your safety or well-being. Forgetting. Forgiveness doesn't require you to erase painful memories or pretend they never occurred. A sign of weakness. On the contrary, forgiveness takes immense strength and vulnerability. Instead, forgiveness is an act of self-care. It's about prioritizing your own healing and happiness over the need to punish or retaliate. A process of letting go. Forgiveness involves their behavior, releasing the emotional charge associated with the hurt, freeing yourself from its power over you. A choice. Forgiveness is something you actively decide to do regardless of whether the other person apologizes or changes. Empowering. By forgiving, you reclaim your agency, refusing to let another person's actions define your future. Understanding these distinctions helps dispel common misconceptions about forgiveness, making it easier to approach the practice with authenticity and openness. Self-forgiveness. Healing from within. One of the most challenging forms of forgiveness is self-forgiveness. Many of us are quick to extend grace to others but struggle to offer the same kindness to ourselves. We replay mistakes in our minds, berate ourselves for perceived failures, and impose unrealistic standards that set us up for disappointment. Over time, this self-criticism chips away at our confidence, self-worth, and ability to thrive. Self-forgiveness begins with acknowledging your humanity. None of us is perfect. We all make errors, misjudgments, and poor choices at some point in our lives. What matters isn't avoiding mistakes altogether, it's learning from them and using those lessons to grow. To practice self-forgiveness, try the following exercises inspired by Buddhist teachings and modern psychology. Acknowledge the harm. Start by naming the mistake or action you're struggling to forgive yourself for. Be specific, honest, and compassionate. For example, I regret yelling at my child during a stressful moment, or I feel guilty about missing an important deadline. Understand your intentions, reflect on why you acted the way you did. Were you acting out of fear, exhaustion, ignorance, or desperation? Recognizing the context behind your actions helps you see yourself as a flawed but fundamentally good person rather than a villain. Express remorse. Allow yourself to feel the weight of your remorse without judgment. Cry, journal, or talk to a trusted friend if needed. This step validates your emotions and paves the way for healing. Make amends, if possible. If appropriate, take steps to repair any harm you've caused. Apologize sincerely, offer restitution, or commit to changing your behavior moving forward. Remember, making amends is about taking responsibility, not seeking absolution. Commit to growth. Finally, resolve to learn from the experience and avoid repeating the same patterns. Set intentions for how you'd like to show up differently in the future, knowing that progress, not perfection, is the goal. Throughout this process, remind yourself that self-forgiveness is ongoing. It's normal to revisit old wounds occasionally, especially during times of stress or uncertainty. Each time you notice these feelings resurfacing, gently guide yourself back to compassion and acceptance. Forgiving others, a path to freedom. While self-forgiveness focuses inward, forgiving others requires reaching outward, with empathy, understanding, and a willingness to release judgment. This doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior or minimizing the impact it had on you. Rather, it means choosing to let go of the story you've been telling yourself about the hurt, opening your heart to new possibilities for connection and closure. One powerful framework for forgiving others comes from Buddhist teachings on loving kindness, metta meditation. This practice invites you to extend goodwill not only to those you love, but also to those who challenge you. Here's how you can apply it to forgiveness. Recognize shared humanity. Begin by reminding yourself that everyone makes mistakes, including the person who hurt you. Their actions likely stemmed from ignorance, fear, or pain, just as yours sometimes do. Seeing them as flawed and vulnerable human beings helps soften your perspective. Visualize their suffering. Imagine the circumstances that led to their behavior. Did they act out of insecurity, jealousy, or trauma? While this doesn't justify their actions, it provides context and fosters empathy. Silently offer compassion. Picture the person in your mind's eye, then silently repeat phrases like, "May you find peace. May you heal from your pain. May you learn from this experience." Release the story. Gradually detach from the narrative you've built around the hurt. Instead of replaying the event in your mind, focus on the lessons it taught you and the strength it helped you develop. Set boundaries, if necessary. Forgiveness doesn't mean tolerating ongoing mistreatment. If the person continues to harm you, it's okay to enforce healthy boundaries or distance yourself entirely. Forgiveness simply ensures that their actions no longer control your emotional state. Another helpful technique is writing a forgiveness letter. Whether or not you send it, putting your thoughts into words allows you to process your emotions and articulate your intention to forgive. Describe the hurt you experienced, express your desire to release it, and affirm your commitment to moving forward. This act of release can be incredibly cathartic, helping you break free from the cycle of resentment. Systemic forgiveness, addressing larger wounds. Sometimes the pain we carry extends beyond individual relationships to encompass broader societal issues: racism, sexism, economic inequality, environmental destruction, and more. These systemic injustices can leave deep scars, fueling anger, despair, and cynicism. While personal forgiveness may not address structural inequities directly, it plays a vital role in sustaining activism and advocacy efforts. By forgiving individuals within oppressive systems, for example, a prejudiced boss, an indifferent politician, or a negligent corporation, you preserve your own energy and morale. Holding on to hatred and bitterness only depletes you, making it harder to effect meaningful change. Forgiveness allows you to channel your passion constructively, advocating for justice without being consumed by rage. Additionally, systemic forgiveness involves recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings. As Thich Nhat Hanh famously said, "We are here to awaken from our illusion of separateness." When we view oppressors and oppressed alike as part of a shared web of existence, we cultivate compassion not only for victims, but also for perpetrators trapped in cycles of ignorance and greed. This perspective empowers us to work toward collective liberation, fostering unity rather than division. The ripple effect of forgiveness. Like gratitude and compassion, forgiveness has a ripple effect that extends far beyond the individual. When you choose to forgive yourself or others, you inspire others to do the same, creating a culture of empathy and healing. A single act of forgiveness can mend broken relationships, restore trust, and catalyze personal and collective transformation. Consider the story of Nelson Mandela, who forgave his captors after spending 27 years in prison for fighting apartheid in South Africa. His decision to prioritize reconciliation over revenge paved the way for a peaceful transition to democracy, earning him global admiration and respect. While few of us face challenges on such a grand scale, Mandela's example reminds us of the transformative power of forgiveness even in the face of unimaginable adversity. In practical terms, the ripple effect of forgiveness manifests in countless ways. A heartfelt apology accepted graciously can mend a fractured friendship. A parent forgiving a rebellious child can rebuild familial bonds. A community coming together to forgive and heal after tragedy can foster resilience and renewal. By choosing forgiveness over vengeance, we align ourselves with a vision of the world rooted in love, justice, and unity. Cultivating forgiveness through daily practices. If you're ready to deepen your forgiveness practice, here are a few additional strategies to explore. Daily affirmations. Start each morning by reciting affirmations that reinforce forgiveness and acceptance. Examples include, I release the past and embrace the present. I forgive myself and others freely, or I choose peace over resentment. Mindful reflection. Dedicate 5 minutes each evening to reflect on moments of forgiveness throughout the day. Who did you forgive? What did you learn from the experience? How did it impact your mood and relationships? Gratitude. Journaling. Pair your forgiveness practice with gratitude by listing 3 things you're thankful for alongside acts of forgiveness. For instance, today I forgave my coworker for interrupting me, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to practice patience. Visualization exercises. During meditation, visualize sending forgiveness and compassion to difficult people or situations. Envision their suffering dissolving, replaced by light and warmth. Acts of service. Channel your forgiveness into service by volunteering, mentoring, or supporting causes aligned with your values. Helping others heal reinforces your own journey toward forgiveness. Closing thoughts on forgiveness. As we continue exploring the tools of Buddhism, mindfulness, and meditation part 1, throughout this video, keep returning to the wisdom of forgiveness. It's a guiding principle that underpins everything else we've discussed so far, offering a path to liberation from the weights we carry. For now, take a moment to reflect on one area of your life where you might benefit from greater forgiveness, whether it's forgiving yourself, someone else, or a larger system of oppression. Trust that every act of forgiveness, no matter how small, creates waves of positive change, rippling outward to touch hearts and minds far beyond your own. Chapter 9. Simplifying your life. Simplicity is one of the most underrated yet transformative practices we can adopt in our modern chaotic world. It's not just about decluttering your physical space, though that's a great start. It's about creating clarity and focus across all areas of your life. By simplifying, you strip away the unnecessary layers of distraction, obligation, and noise that weigh you down, allowing you to reconnect with what truly matters. This process aligns beautifully with Buddhist teachings, mindfulness, and meditation, offering a path to peace, contentment, and freedom. In this chapter, we'll explore why simplicity is so powerful, how it intersects with letting go, and practical steps you can take to simplify your life, both externally and internally. Whether you're overwhelmed by possessions, commitments, or mental clutter, these insights will guide you toward greater ease and joy. The weight of complexity. To understand the importance of simplicity, let's first examine why complexity often leads to suffering. In today's fast-paced, consumer-driven society, we're bombarded with endless choices, demands, and distractions. From overflowing inboxes to packed schedules to social media feeds designed to keep us scrolling endlessly, life feels more complicated than ever before. While some level of complexity is inevitable, too much of it leaves us feeling scattered, stressed, and disconnected from ourselves. Consider your average day. How many tasks do you juggle simultaneously? How often do you switch between emails, texts, meetings, chores, and entertainment without fully completing or even enjoying any of them? Multitasking might seem efficient, but research shows it actually reduces productivity and increases stress. When we spread ourselves too thin, we lose sight of priorities, sacrificing depth for breadth. This same principle applies to material possessions. The more things we own, the more time, energy, and resources we devote to maintaining them. Cluttered spaces create cluttered minds, making it harder to relax, focus, or find inspiration. Even relationships can become overly complex when we try to please everyone, avoid conflict, or maintain superficial connections at the expense of deeper ones. Buddhism teaches that simplicity is a form of liberation. By reducing external distractions, we create space for inner stillness and awareness. Instead of chasing after fleeting pleasures or trying to have it all, we learn to appreciate the beauty of enough. The idea that true fulfillment comes not from accumulation, but from alignment with our values and purpose. The benefits of simplicity. So what happens when we embrace simplicity? For starters, we reduce stress significantly. When we clear out unnecessary commitments, possessions, and distractions, we free up mental and emotional bandwidth to focus on what truly matters. We stop spreading ourselves too thin and start investing deeply in the people, activities, and goals that bring meaning to our lives. Simplicity also enhances creativity and productivity. Have you ever noticed how ideas flow more easily when your environment is tidy and organized? Or how focusing on one task at a time yields better results than multitasking? By streamlining our surroundings and routines, we remove obstacles that block inspiration and innovation. Additionally, simplicity fosters gratitude and contentment. When we let go of the constant pursuit of more money, more status, more stuff, we begin to appreciate the abundance already present in our lives. A minimalist lifestyle encourages us to savor simple pleasures, a warm cup of tea, a quiet evening at home, a heartfelt conversation, rather than chasing after bigger, shinier alternatives. Finally, simplicity strengthens relationships. When we say no to non-essential commitments, we create room for quality time with loved ones. When we communicate openly and authentically, we build trust and intimacy. And when we prioritize meaningful connections over superficial ones, we cultivate a sense of belonging that sustains us through life's ups and downs. How to simplify your life. Now that we've explored why simplicity matters, let's talk about how to implement it in your daily life. Like any practice, simplifying requires intentionality and consistency. Here are some strategies to help you streamline your external and internal worlds. Declutter your physical space. The first step in simplifying your life is addressing the tangible clutter around you. Start small, perhaps with a single drawer, shelf, or corner of a room, and work your way outward. Ask yourself, does this item serve a purpose or bring me joy? If not, it's time to let it go. For clothing, use the 1-year rule. If you haven't worn something in the past year, donate or recycle it. For books, papers, and other items, consider digitizing them if possible, freeing up physical space while preserving access. Keep only what you genuinely need or cherish, trusting that less is truly more. As you declutter, resist the urge to replace old items with new ones, unless absolutely necessary. Minimalism isn't about swapping one set of stuff for another, it's about cultivating mindfulness around consumption and ownership. Streamline your schedule. Next, turn your attention to your calendar. Take stock of everything you've committed to: meetings, appointments, hobbies, social events. and ask yourself, which of these align with my values and priorities? Which ones drain my energy or add little value? Be ruthless in eliminating non-essential. Say no to invitations that don't excite or nourish you. Delegate tasks that others can handle. Batch similar activities together to minimize context switching. And schedule regular downtime to rest, recharge, and reflect. A helpful tool for managing your schedule is the Eisenhower matrix, which categorizes tasks based on urgency and importance. Focus on high-priority items, delegate or delay less critical ones, and eliminate anything that doesn't contribute to your well-being or goals. Simplify your digital life. Our digital environments are often just as cluttered as our physical ones. To simplify your online presence, unsubscribe from newsletters and promotional emails you no longer read. Organize files and folders on your computer for easy access. Delete unused apps and consolidate tools where possible. Set boundaries around screen time to protect your mental health. Designate tech-free zones or hours, for example, during meals, before bed, or first thing in the morning. Use apps like Freedom or Focus at will to block distracting websites and stay on task. Finally, curate your social media feeds to include only accounts that inspire, educate, or uplift you. Unfollow anyone who triggers comparison, negativity, or overwhelm. Remember, your digital diet shapes your mindset, so choose wisely. Clarify your priorities. Simplification isn't just about reducing external clutter. It's also about aligning your actions with your deepest values. Take time to reflect on what matters most to you, whether it's family, health, creativity, spirituality, or service, and ensure your daily habits support those priorities. One effective exercise is writing a personal mission statement. Summarize your core beliefs, passions, and aspirations in a few sentences, then refer back to it whenever you feel lost or overwhelmed. This document serves as a compass, guiding you toward decisions and behaviors that honor your authentic self. You can also practice setting intentions each morning. Before starting your day, ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish? How do I want to show up for myself and others? Keeping these answers in mind helps you stay focused and intentional throughout the day. Simplify your mind. External simplification naturally leads to internal clarity, but you can accelerate the process by adopting mindfulness techniques. Meditation, breathwork, and journaling are excellent tools for calming mental chatter and fostering presence. During meditation, observe your thoughts without judgment, allowing them to pass like clouds drifting across the sky. Over time, this practice reduces rumination and anxiety, making space for calm and insight. Journaling provides another outlet for processing emotions and organizing thoughts. Write freely about whatever arises, worries, dreams, frustrations, gratitudes, without censoring yourself. Reviewing your entries periodically reveals patterns and themes, helping you identify areas for growth or simplification. Finally, practice saying no, not just to others, but also to your own perfectionistic tendencies. Accept that done is better than perfect and give yourself permission to rest, make mistakes, and evolve over time. Overcoming obstacles to simplicity. While simplifying offers countless benefits, it's not without its challenges. One common obstacle is resistance to change. Letting go of familiar habits, possessions, or routines can feel uncomfortable, especially if they've provided comfort or security in the past. Remind yourself that discomfort is temporary and that the rewards of simplicity far outweigh the initial effort required. Another hurdle is societal pressure. Consumer culture thrives on convincing us that happiness depends on having more gadgets, more clothes, more experiences, but true fulfillment comes from within, not from external validation. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals who share your commitment to simplicity and seek inspiration from books, podcasts, or documentaries on minimalism and mindfulness. Finally, there's the challenge of consistency. Like any habit, simplifying takes time to develop. There will be days when old patterns resurface, tempting you to revert to complexity. That's okay. What matters most is showing up again and again, committing to the process, even when it feels difficult. Over time, simplicity becomes second nature, transforming the way you experience life. The ripple effect of simplicity. When you commit to simplifying your life, you don't just benefit yourself, you contribute to a collective shift toward mindfulness and sustainability. Every act of simplification sends ripples outward, inspiring others to adopt similar attitudes. Imagine a world where everyone prioritized quality over quantity, presence over distraction, and connection over consumption. Conflicts would soften, misunderstandings would dissolve, and communities would flourish. Simplicity also aligns beautifully with the principles of Buddhism, particularly the concept of interdependence. Everything we experience, from the air we breathe to the technology we use, is interconnected, sustained by countless unseen forces. Recognizing this web of support fosters humility and reverence, encouraging us to treat others and the planet with care and respect. As we continue our journey through mindfulness, meditation, and Buddhist teachings, remember that simplicity is always available to you no matter where you are or what you're facing. It's a lifeline during stormy seas, a beacon guiding you back to shore. By weaving simplicity into the fabric of your daily life, you'll find it easier to let go of the weights holding you down, replacing them with lightness, joy, and peace. For now, take a moment to close your eyes and breathe deeply. Feel the weight of your body against the chair, the rhythm of your heartbeat, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Allow yourself to simply be knowing that this moment, right here, right now, is enough. Chapter 10. Building a daily practice. Building a daily practice is the cornerstone of integrating mindfulness, meditation, and Buddhist teachings into your life. It's not about achieving perfection or checking off boxes. It's about creating sustainable habits that support your growth and well-being over time. A daily practice provides structure, consistency, and a sense of ritual, helping you stay grounded amidst life's inevitable ups and downs. Whether you're new to these concepts or have been exploring them for years, this chapter will guide you through designing a personalized routine that works for you. Let's begin by understanding why having a daily practice matters and how it can help you let go of the weights you've been carrying. When we commit to showing up each day, whether it's through meditation, journaling, mindful movement, or gratitude exercises, we build resilience, deepen self-awareness, and cultivate tools for navigating challenges with grace. Over time, these small intentional actions compound, leading to profound shifts in how we experience ourselves and the world around us. Why consistency matters. Consistency is key when it comes to building a daily practice. Think of it like watering a plant. Occasional bursts of attention won't sustain its growth. Steady care ensures it thrives. The same principle applies to our minds and spirits. When we engage in mindfulness and meditation regularly, even if only for a few minutes at a time, we rewire our brains, fostering neural pathways associated with calm, clarity, and compassion. Research shows that consistent mindfulness practices lead to measurable changes in brain structure and function. For example, studies have found that regular meditation increases gray matter density in areas related to memory, empathy, and emotional regulation, while decreasing activity in the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for stress and fear responses. These physiological benefits translate into real-world improvements, such as reduced anxiety, enhanced focus, and greater overall happiness. But beyond the science, there's something deeply satisfying about committing to a daily practice. It becomes an anchor, a reliable touch point that reminds you of your values, intentions, and capacity for transformation. On days when life feels chaotic or overwhelming, your practice serves as a sanctuary, offering solace and perspective. And on good days, it amplifies joy, gratitude, and connection, helping you savor the richness of the present moment. Designing your daily practice. The beauty of a daily practice lies in its flexibility. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. What works for one person may not resonate with another. The goal is to create a routine that aligns with your unique needs, preferences, and lifestyle. To get started, consider the following elements. 1. Meditation. Meditation is often the foundation of a mindfulness practice, providing a structured way to cultivate awareness and presence. Begin by setting aside 5 to 10 minutes each day for seated meditation. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Focus on your breath, observing the sensation of air entering and leaving your nostrils. If your mind wanders, which it inevitably will, gently guide your attention back to your breath without judgment. As you grow more comfortable with basic meditation, experiment with different techniques. Loving kindness, meditation, metta. Silently repeat phrases like, "May I be happy, may I be healthy," and "May I live with ease," extending these wishes to others as well. Body scan. Systematically check in with each part of your body, noticing areas of tension, relaxation, warmth, or coolness. Visualization. Picture yourself in a peaceful setting, a forest, beach, or mountaintop, and immerse yourself in the sights, sounds, and smells of that environment. Remember, meditation doesn't require hours of dedication. Even a few minutes each day can yield significant benefits. Start small and gradually increase the duration as you feel ready. 2. Mindful movement. For many people, incorporating physical activity into their daily practice enhances both mental and physical well-being. Mindful movement practices such as yoga, tai chi, qigong, or even walking combine gentle exercise with focused attention, promoting balance, strength, and relaxation. Yoga, in particular, offers a rich blend of physical postures, asanas, breathing exercises, pranayama, and meditation. Poses like child's pose, warrior two, and tree pose encourage grounding and stability, while sequences like sun salutations foster flow and energy. Pairing yoga with conscious breathing amplifies its calming effects, helping you release tension and center yourself. If yoga isn't your style, try mindful walking. Simply stroll at a slow pace, paying attention to the sensation of your feet touching the ground, the rhythm of your steps, and the sights and sounds around you. This practice transforms ordinary walks into meditative experiences, grounding you in the here and now. 3. Journaling. Journaling is a powerful tool for processing emotions, clarifying thoughts, and setting intentions. Dedicate a few minutes each day to writing freely about whatever arises: gratitude, frustrations, dreams, insights. Don't worry about grammar, spelling, or coherence. The act of putting pen to paper or fingers to keyboard is what matters most. To deepen your journaling practice, incorporate prompts inspired by mindfulness and Buddhism. What am I grateful for today? What emotions am I carrying right now, and where do I feel them in my body? What lessons have I learned recently, and how can I apply them moving forward? Who or what inspires me, and why? Over time, reviewing your entries reveals patterns and themes, offering valuable insights into your inner landscape. 4. Gratitude and compassion. Practices. Gratitude and compassion are integral components of any mindfulness practice, nurturing positivity and connection. Each morning or evening, take a few moments to reflect on 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be monumental achievements. They could be as simple as a kind word from a stranger, a delicious meal, or a beautiful sunset. Compassion practices complement gratitude beautifully. In addition to loving kindness meditation, you can extend kindness throughout your day by performing random acts of generosity. Hold the door open for someone, leave a generous tip, or send a thoughtful message to a friend. These small gestures ripple outward, inspiring others to adopt similar attitudes. 5. Digital detox and reflection. Incorporating tech-free periods into your daily routine helps reduce distractions and fosters presence. Designate specific times, perhaps during meals, before bed, or first thing in the morning, as screen-free zones. Use this time to engage in mindful activities like reading, drawing, cooking, or spending time in nature. At the end of each day, reflect on your experiences. Ask yourself, what went well today? What challenges did I face and how did I respond? What can I learn from this day to improve tomorrow? This habit reinforces self-awareness and accountability, ensuring continuous growth and improvement. Tips for staying consistent. While designing your daily practice is exciting, sticking to it requires discipline and patience. Here are some strategies to help you stay consistent. Start small. Avoid overwhelming yourself by trying to implement too many practices at once. Choose 1 or 2 activities to focus on initially and expand gradually as they become habits. 2. Set realistic goals. Be honest about how much time and energy you can realistically devote to your practice. 5 minutes of meditation is better than none at all. Create rituals. Establish routines that signal the start and end of your practice. Light a candle, play soft music, or sip tea as you transition into mindfulness mode. These rituals make the experience feel special and sacred. Track your progress. Keep a log of your daily activities, noting how they impact your mood, energy levels, and overall well-being. Celebrate milestones along the way, reinforcing your commitment. Be kind to yourself. Some days will feel easier than others. If you miss a session or struggle to focus, remind yourself that consistency, not perfection, is the goal. Every effort counts. Seek support. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals who share your passion for mindfulness and meditation. Join online communities, attend workshops, or partner with a friend to keep each other accountable. Adapting your practice over time. A daily practice isn't static, it evolves alongside you. As your needs, interests, and circumstances change, so too should your routine. For instance, during particularly stressful periods, you might prioritize calming activities like breathwork or restorative yoga. When feeling stagnant or uninspired, you could explore new techniques or deepen existing ones. Don't be afraid to experiment and adjust as needed. The ultimate goal is to create a practice that feels authentic and supportive, empowering you to navigate life's twists and turns with resilience and grace. The ripple effect of a daily practice. When you commit to a daily practice, you don't just benefit yourself, you contribute to a collective shift toward mindfulness and compassion. Every act of presence sends ripples outward, inspiring others to adopt similar attitudes. Imagine a world where everyone took a few moments each day to pause, breathe, and connect with themselves. Conflicts would soften, misunderstandings would dissolve, and communities would flourish. Your daily practice also aligns beautifully with the principles of Buddhism, particularly the concept of interdependence. Everything we experience, from the air we breathe to the technology we use, is interconnected, sustained by countless unseen forces. Recognizing this web of support fosters humility and reverence, encouraging us to treat others and the planet with care and respect. As we conclude this video, remember that your journey toward letting go and embracing mindfulness is ongoing. There will be highs and lows, breakthroughs and setbacks, but with a strong foundation in place, a daily practice rooted in awareness, compassion and simplicity, you'll find it easier to navigate these fluctuations with courage and grace. For now, take a moment to close your eyes and breathe deeply. Feel the weight of your body against the chair, the rhythm of your heartbeat, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Allow yourself to simply be knowing that this moment, right here, right now, is enough. And so we arrive at the end of our journey together, a journey that has taken us deep into the heart of Buddhism, meditation, and mindfulness. Over the past hour, we've explored powerful tools for letting go of everything that weighs you down, understanding impermanence, cultivating gratitude, practicing compassion, embracing forgiveness, simplifying your life, and building a daily practice. Each of these principles offers a pathway to freedom, helping you release the burdens that have kept you stuck and reconnect with the lightness and joy within. As I reflect on all we've covered, I'm reminded of a beautiful quote by Thich Nhat Hanh. The present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it. These words encapsulate the essence of what we've been discussing today. Life's beauty isn't hidden, it's right here, in front of us, waiting to be noticed. But noticing requires presence, patience, and a willingness to slow down and savor the ordinary moments that make life extraordinary. Letting go isn't about erasing challenges or pretending difficulties don't exist. It's about shifting your perspective, choosing to meet life with openness and curiosity rather than resistance and fear. When you embrace impermanence, you learn to flow with change instead of fighting against it. When you practice gratitude, you train yourself to see abundance even in times of scarcity. And when you forgive yourself or others, you reclaim your power to move forward unencumbered by the past. Building a daily practice ties all of these elements together, providing a framework for integrating mindfulness into your everyday life. Whether it's 5 minutes of meditation, a few lines in your journal, or a mindful walk outside, these small acts create ripples of transformation that extend far beyond the moments in which they occur. They anchor you in the present, reminding you that peace and contentment aren't destinations. They're states of being you can access anytime, anywhere. If there's one takeaway I hope you carry with you from this video, it's this. You don't have to do everything perfectly. Growth isn't linear, and healing doesn't happen overnight. What matters most is showing up again and again with kindness, patience, and intention. Yeah, every step you take toward letting go brings you closer to the person you're meant to be, someone who moves through the world with grace, resilience, and love. I want to thank you for joining me on this exploration. Creating content for the Mindful Zone is truly a labor of love, and knowing that it resonates with people like you makes every moment worthwhile. If you found value in this video, I'd be incredibly grateful if you could share it with someone who might benefit from it. Together, we can spread the message of mindfulness and help more people find their way back to themselves. Before we part ways, I invite you to take just one final moment to pause. Close your eyes if you can, or simply soften your gaze, and take 3 deep breaths. Inhale deeply, hold for a moment, and exhale slowly. Allow yourself to feel grounded, centered, and at peace. Trust that no matter where you are on your journey, you are exactly where you need to be. Remember, the work of letting go never truly ends. Life will continue to present opportunities for growth, challenge, and transformation. But armed with the tools we've discussed today, you'll be better equipped to navigate whatever comes your way. Lean into the practices that resonate most deeply with you, and trust that even the smallest efforts will yield profound results over time. Until next time, may you walk lightly, breathe deeply, and live fully. Thank you for being here, for sharing this space with me, and for committing to your own growth and well-being. You are capable of incredible things, and I believe in you wholeheartedly. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.